got the latest USDA numbers on net farm income, plus there was a new ruling on Dicamba this week, and so much more on today's episode of the Arkansas AgCast, which starts right now.
You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Jason Brown and John Nickman.
Howdy, everybody.
Hello.
How we doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Happy Thursday. Happy February the 8th.
Yeah, big day.
Cranking through February already, I feel like.
Yeah, today's been or not today, this week.
This week has been a whirlwind.
Yeah, they hadn't really had the opportunity to stop and just think. It's just been reacting.
Yeah. Of course, that's a good thing. Time passing quickly.
Yeah.
But it has been busy. I went up to Jonesboro yesterday for the A-State Agribusiness Conference, and that was great to attend. A lot of great speakers there. Heard some insight. I'll tell you, a little bit vindicating. A lot of topics that we cover here on this program.
Really?
Yeah, and some.
I really wanted to go. I couldn't make it.
Yeah, it was good. Good stuff. I'll give a shout out to Harrison Pittman, who gave a presentation called Back to the Future, and he did a comparison of sort of the ag industry and ag world, and geopolitical issues 30 years ago and then today. It's pretty interesting to see how much of that stuff is running parallel to an extent.
Sorry, sometimes past repeats itself to some extent.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was a cool presentation, and then we heard from Ag Heritage on some tips for farmers. Frankly, just staying in business, being successful. Goodness, we got we're clumsy around the microphone now, aren't we?
You want to hit your microphone real quick?
You guys okay?
Do you feel out of place?
Punch yours or something.
Did you take your medication today?
Yeah, something.
Where am I?
I'm where you were last week.
What did I do last week?
You know,
Was
you're
I not
like,
on?
guys, I'm just not well rested. I haven't been resting well.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten that 8 hours every night this week.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I cannot come over I was at the gym this morning in the sauna. Guy was in there with me. He's a friend of mine. He's like, man, I don't know. Anybody, seasonal depression, getting down in the dumps. He starts just kind of randomly talking to me about how winter can impact our mental health or whatever. I'm like, man, is he trying to tell me something? Is he worried about me? I don't know.
Yeah, self-evaluation.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. Like
I just told him, I was like, I'm ready to get outside, He's like, yeah, man.
It took me, I think when we were at the Arkansas Grown Conference, I made that comment of just the holiday, baby being sick, then me sick, wife sick, and then it snowed, and just like you couldn't catch up.
Yeah.
But this week, I thought I was.
Yeah.
And then what we're about to talk about today really fired up everything this week. So.
Oh, me. But yeah, anyway, great presentations, great meeting yesterday.
A lot of people there?
Yeah. Like I said, I think I was in the middle saying Ag Heritage was there. They gave some tips about staying in business and keep being successful on the farm from a profit perspective.
Yeah.
And then the head of extension at Mississippi State came in and gave a talk on the Farm Bill, and that was great. He had some information from a friend of Arkansas Farm Bureau, John Newton, staff economist for the Republican side of the Senate Ag Committee. And some good stuff. Yeah, I mean, be interesting to watch and see how that plays out. I think that conversation has picked up quite a bit this week. I saw some comments from Senator Stabenow as well. Senator Bozeman, which we'll talk about here in a few, had some thoughts, some additions to the thought process, I would say, in the Farm Bill.
Did they give any kind of timeline?
No, I think that's the $1 million question right now, or the $1 trillion question right now is when we'll have a farm bill.
Yeah,
I think everybody. I'll say this, not to. We're not reporting on this, but the end conclusion I think was simply, Senator Stabenow is not running for re-election. So
Yeah.
there's a great motivation on the Democrat side to get her a win on the way out the door.
Yeah.
That being said, this speaker was saying the closer we get to the presidential, the more we're going to see folks want to drag their feet because both sides think we're going to be in charge in the White House, in the Senate, in the House. So we'll have a better chance of making a farm bill we want.
Yeah.
Both sides think that.
Putting their people in those
he's
spots.
like, the closer we get to that presidential election, the less motivated people will be to get a farm bill passed. So he actually floated, again, this is all speculation. This is one person's opinion, but he actually floated the idea that the potential for another extension.
Ooh, that's the first time I've heard that.
Well, again, one person, one opinion, but we'll see.
It is what it is.
Some other items we saw this week kind of get pushed back or not passed through that they thought were going to get passed through potentially for the presidential race too. So who knows?
Did they acknowledge you as the podcast
as an expert?
Yeah,
they did not.
the famous Jason Brown.
Matter of fact,
here with us
I don't
today.
know that anybody knew who I was. So except for the Farm Bureau folks who were there. But we might try and hit up Dr. Greenwald and see if we can get up there and record this program.
That would be good.
I thought about that yesterday.
Yeah,
be good to do a show from there.
right there in the middle of the lobby during one of the breaks.
Hey, why not?
Exposure, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Did anyone introduce you as podcast boy?
No, Dan wasn't there.
Where's your
so,
other podcast boy? Boy.
Dan wasn't there, so we failed to get any mentions there too.
Well,
Turns out we are just regular.
That's why they said podcast boy.
We're not as cool
Everybody
as we thought we were.
they might have whipped their heads around there. The podcast boy.
Had somebody said that, we would have gotten some attention.
There you go.
You should have announced yourself right when you walked in.
I should have put it on my name badge.
There you go. Hey, thank you.
Podcast boy 1 of 3.
Or introduce yourself and you ask a question.
Yeah.
Podcast boy here.
Hi, just podcast boy.
Some information on the farm bill, please.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, like I said, it's Thursday. We're wrapping up the week. Y'all know what's coming Sunday. The big game. We're not allowed to say the SB word. I actually looked at the rules on that before we came down here. So, goodness gracious.
Interesting.
Again. So
Okay.
we cannot say SB.
Very interesting indeed. Well, it's the big game.
It's the big game.
And who you got?
Oh, really? I don't. I mean,
Can we not say the team names either?
Not supposed to.
Okay, what color? You got red or
Red. Gold helmets or red helmets?
Yeah.
I really don't care. My father-in-law has been a fan of the gold helmets for a long time.
Yeah.
Proximity. Red helmets are interesting.
Yeah.
Good story there.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I have a choice. I mean, I always watch for the commercials anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being an old advertising guy and whatever.
Man, I'm going with the red helmets.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be mad if the gold helmets win. So does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
We got 2 Razorback players. I don't even know if I can say that now.
There is
on the gold helmet team.
I saw something this morning that there's a guy who played football at England down here on the red helmet team.
England High School?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
What about you, Brian?
What about me?
Brian, red or gold helmet? We're struggling.
Oh,
today.
and numbers. We have to stick to numbers,
Oh.
not player names.
Name and
So,
likeness.
I will be.
I don't really have a dog in the hunt,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I will say that if I did have one, it would likely be the one that's closer in proximity to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I am. If there's something that pushes me.
Yeah.
For our listeners out there, if you're not sure, we're in Arkansas.
got family and friends that are, big fans, and I like them and everything. But I have been to the other team's stadium. And it's
have you?
Quite nice.
Yeah.
So,
interesting.
went to a Coldplay concert there. I can say Coldplay. So
You can. Speaking of, there's a band that I very much want to see that's playing at the Sphere. I thought they were done. They had kind of called it quits last fall. And tickets, boy, are out of control.
I think he's the last one to get the best price.
Yeah,
I know. Tickets.
I will divulge a little more info. I will be there a week from Sunday.
Really?
I did not want to be there on Super Bowl weekend, but
Sure.
I'm going back to see them one more time.
Okay.
Wow.
I did see they incorporated their performance, the venue, the whole nine in the Grammys. I watched my first Grammys for the first time
that was
in a
all.
long time.
Most of that was all pre-recorded stuff from
I assumed.
previous, because Larry Mullen was there. If you notice some of the footage, but it is very cool.
Yeah.
They did a good job. So
A good promo for them.
it was. It was good.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know why I brought that up. That has nothing to do with the big game. But anyway,
and it's happening in the same town. So
there you go. I guess that's the connection. I thought this was fun. So speaking of the game, American Farm Bureau sent out some interesting stats this week on food consumption for the game. And let's be honest, that's what team I hope wins, the kitchen crew.
The kitchen crew?
Man, I'm a big fan of
Are you going to be a
food.
part of the kitchen crew?
Oh, yeah.
Sunday?
Yeah. Matter of fact, we host a at my house, I call it the semi-annual half Super Bowl party. It's because we don't do it necessarily every year.
Yeah.
We always talk and we're like, we can do it this year. We can't. And there's one rule at my Super Bowl party.
Yeah.
That is, as soon as the halftime show is over, you got to go home. You got to get out of here.
Stick around here. Daddy's got to go to sleep.
that's pretty funny.
That was the first year we hosted the party. I'm like, we want to do this, but like, I don't want to be up late and, whatever, got to work tomorrow, whatever. So the very first year that we did this, we told everybody, you're welcome to come over.
Yeah.
But just understand, you got to leave when the halftime show's over.
Yeah.
So we call it the semi-annual half, every so often half Super Bowl party. But we generally do have it every year. And the menu, I was sharing my part of the menu out with our friends text group earlier this week. So, yeah.
Well, we got invited to, I wouldn't call it a party, just a gathering at somebody's house.
Yeah, this is no party. There's like 3 couples.
The game starts at 5:30, I think?
Something
yes,
like
it
that.
does.
Yeah.
Little Tone goes bed about 6, so
Yeah.
we're not gonna make that.
Yeah, Maryland's bedtime is 7:30. And so we want to be as close to that as possible. But so talking about food, according to American Farm Bureau data here, there will be almost 1.5 billion with a B chicken wings consumed during the game on Sunday.
I wonder what 1.5 billion chicken wings looks like.
There's
Like, how much area would that take up?
I need this will go from here to the moon 5 times or whatever.
I think we can handle that in our
comparison.
department. But
Yeah, that'd be pretty fun to see.
our stats will be late, though.
If I see you guys down the hall
Measuring
lining up
chicken
wings, okay.
Well, this one's not as long as the other one.
Yeah. More than 8 million pounds of corn tortilla chips will be eaten during the game. That's a lot of corn. More than what do you think is well, that's not fair. All right. Cheese. It's up there. Top 3, I think, consumed food.
It's almost on
items.
everything.
I can believe it. Yeah.
25 million pounds of cheese consumed during the game.
I bet that would take up multiple warehouses.
Yeah, I bet you're right. I know I've got like 3 or 4 different kinds of cheese on my grocery list.
Are there any stats for how much indigestion stuff happens during the next week? So,
I don't know what ag products are in like Tums, but that's what we need. We need to figure that out and measure that. But it got me thinking, what's one thing, that you want to make sure as you go to this party, or if you and Star, just you two at home or whatever, know, what's one thing that you for sure want to be on the table? On the bar, I should say, the island of the kitchen.
He's nodding at me.
Yeah. He's trying to think if he
trying to share the love
if he
here,
wants to bring deviled eggs back since they missed them.
Oh man, you shouldn't have brought that up. I can't believe I forgot about that. Big
Dude.
game deviled eggs.
Well, there's so many things, but my guilty pleasure, Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its.
Believe it or
you
not.
like Cheez-Its, huh?
I do.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just plain? You dip them in anything?
Oh no, just plain the cheddar jack.
Ah.
They're really good.
Yeah.
So
I think those commercials are hilarious.
they
they're
are.
very funny.
I'm the cheesiest coach.
I make our popcorn, and so we have homemade popcorn and Cheez-Its a lot of times, and it's really good.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't know. Chicken wings would definitely have to be there.
Yeah.
Somebody said earlier, pigs in the blanket. I have a plan. I'm taking a buddy's idea from hunt season. He made Italian beef sandwiches that were slow cooked. The chuck roast was slow cooked for all day, whatever. I'm thinking about making little sliders. Yeah,
like little
little Hawaiian rolls.
Like with
Italian beef.
Italian beef.
Yeah.
Okay.
With provolone melted on top.
Yes, sir.
Little peppers and onions.
When we do a pot roast at my house, not very often, and I don't do the carrots, potatoes version. I do the Mississippi pot roast version or whatever. I always have to have a brioche bun and some provolone for the leftovers.
Yeah.
Make a little sandwich or two out of that.
Nice.
Nobody go that route, but I don't know. I'm kind of thinking sliders.
I like that though. I'm doing wings. Wings are fine. I mean, I take them or leave them, but they feel like they've got to be there. And Heather's doing the Hawaiian roll sliders, but the ham Swiss version, that you've probably had before.
Yeah, definitely. You bake them in the oven.
Yeah.
Probably more Arkansas specific. I used to make duck poppers for Super Bowl every year.
Yeah,
the big game. Excuse me.
I found a recipe that is a pig in the blanket mixed with a jalapeno popper. So you go like pastry puff, and then the jalapeno, put the cheese mix in, drop a cocktail weenie in there, wrap it up, and like that. And I think I'm going to do those.
Wow.
That'd be really good.
I always pick something that I've never done before.
Yeah.
One year I did pork belly, corn dogs, done a few different things like that. So this is my new thing I've never done before.
You notice he gives us all this information, but he hadn't invited us to his
I know.
big game halftime.
Well, apparently, if he does, we're kicked out.
Just know you're welcome, but just know.
I will try to make an effort to bring in some jalapeno poppers from my son-in-law because he is the popper king.
Okay,
they are mind blowing.
Yeah,
very good.
Nice.
Shout out to my daughter. It's her birthday today.
Oh, really?
Birthday.
How about that? Happy
From
birthday,
the podcast boys.
Yeah. Is this the same son-in-law that has been in here for an episode before?
No, that's my son.
Okay, that's your son. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, this is my son-in-law in Mountain View. So,
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, how about that? Happy birthday. Let me see. Okay, let's get on with the business. We had a long show last week. We talked about a lot of stuff last week, so let's try and be a little bit more efficient. A programming note. We're not going to have a regular show next week. Mr. McMahon here is headed up to D.C. for Issues Advisory Committee meetings. And so we are going to fulfill a promise, though, that we made, I guess, probably the last 2 weeks we've talked about having Jake on.
Yes, we are.
So you're going to record a deep dive.
Yeah, we're going to record a deep dive with Mr. Cartwright. Director Cartwright, if you will. Last week I gave numbers on cattle inventory or cattle prices and beef prices for the Southeast. That was reported by Dr. David Anderson out at Texas A&M. So Jake's going to come in and give us a little bit more detail about all those national numbers for the whole cattle industry. And also, if you remember last year, he gave a really good story or input on cold beef storage.
Yes, I do remember that.
Kind of the impact of that. And it'll be interesting to see what our, we've got a lower number or inventory of cattle herd or whatever, how that affects cattle prices, how that affects beef prices, what the consumer's going to see. Jake's going to go into a lot of that.
Nice.
And you've got, lucky for you all, you got two economists nerding out on statistics.
Hashtag nerd alert.
We do. I bet we talk about supply and demand. How about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So still a good show next week. Obviously, a deep dive. We haven't had a deep dive in a little while. So there's that. And then this weekend, also in addition to the game, I thought I'd just give a shout out to our YF&R folks. Their convention is this weekend.
Yeah.
And that's going on. I think it starts tomorrow, Friday.
Yes.
It runs through Saturday. They've got a lot of workshops. They've got the Peterson brothers coming in to do a keynote.
Really?
Yep. And then I've heard that the Ag Olympics are back.
I heard that too.
And I hope there's some sort of plan to document that, preferably in video.
Yeah.
Because I want to see some of that that action going down.
Yeah, the competition is probably going to be hot.
Yeah,
Tense.
Tricycle races. I mean, all kind. What else is there, Brian? Do you know?
Well, they usually do a like a log sawing kind of deal.
Yeah.
I've never seen it in person. I've just seen photos.
Okay.
So,
I sort of feel like that there should have been an honorary team, an AgCast team put together
Podcast
on
boys.
this deal, and like,
well, there's still time, but they do little tractor races.
we don't want to.
So,
We don't want to
I'll
beat
be there.
everybody. We don't want to beat everybody.
So if you're,
you're giving a presentation.
if you are interested in learning more about a crop market outlook, Brandy, Carol, and I will be giving that at 1:15 to 2:15.
Nice.
Yep, and it's at the Embassy
On
Suites
Saturday.
on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yes, Saturday. So you can either watch me give a good presentation or fumble through my words. So we'll see what
I have
happens.
faith in you. I think you're going to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's kick off the news this week, and I'm kind of excited about this. This is a topic that almost everybody is talking about, but we've never covered on the AgCast. How about that? I'm not talking about Taylor Swift, so I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm talking about the eclipse on April 8th.
Oh, yeah.
The Pine Bluff commercial had a great story this week, and I sent it to you. I said, hey, I think this is kind of cool. Should we cover something on the eclipse? And you're like, yeah. I think it's a great one to cover. And honestly, we like this one because it brings, I was telling Brian before the show, it brings agriculture into the mix here. So yeah, the Pine Bluff commercial had the story on how the eclipse could have a measurable impact on rural and agricultural communities.
Yeah.
The reporting notes that the influx of traffic as folks seek out unobstructed views of the sky will be the hot spots during the event. So just to take that a step further, the U of A System Division of Ag says that farmland is probably going to be a target spot.
Yeah, open
for these
pastures and fields.
Yeah, exactly. For these spectators. No trees, no buildings, that kind of a thing. So on April 8th, between noon and 4 p.m., let's set the stage here, the Earth's moon will completely eclipse the sun for about 4 minutes over any given location in its path. So for Arkansas, this means a shadow approximately 118 miles wide, stretching from the southwest corner of the state to the northeast corner. The shadow is expected to begin near DeQueen at 1:46 p.m. and exit the state at about 2 p.m. up near Pocahontas. That's according to the Arkansas Department of Transportation. This story has some great insight from Matthew Davis. He's staff chair for the Jackson County Cooperative Extension Service, and he's been giving some tips and information to prepare residents for the possible influx of motorists. Davis says that the concern here is largely that local, county, and state two-lane highways, typically used by sizable farming equipment, sometimes exceeding 20-foot widths, will be potentially full of additional vehicles. Yeah. Specifically pointing to the fact that people use these less trafficked roads as places to pull off to view the eclipse. This could be concerning to farmers, given that we'll likely have farmers in the field by this time of year, April 8th. I mean, estimates point, get this, to the potential for 1.5 million people traveling from outside the state to see the eclipse.
Wow.
That does not include an additional estimated 500,000 Arkansans expected to travel to take part in the spectacle.
Yeah, that would increase our population by 50%.
Yeah, something like that. When you have an influx of 2 million people in these mostly rural areas of the state, the infrastructure impacts are going to be top of mind.
Yeah.
Davis offers up some recommendations for both motorists as well as farmers. We're just going to cover the farmer perspective here, but mostly because farmers are likely to be in the field in April. For instance, when a farmer is planning their route, if you're going to move around that day, make sure your lights on your equipment are legal and working. Yeah. Use slow moving vehicles, slow moving vehicle signage, and make sure it's visible. Proceed with caution when entering and exiting the highways. A lot of these are no-brainer stuff we're doing every day anyway. Use follow cars with flashing lights to alert traffic that big equipment's coming through. Verify that your attachments are secured, those lights are functioning, equipment widths and heights are noted, that kind of thing. And if traffic stops, pull over, ask for assistance, or just remain, in place until the traffic clears. This is all pretty standard procedure, like I said, but maybe the best rule of thumb is just to simply limit the equipment movement during the day of the eclipse. Move equipment to areas that would provide a full day of work without the need to move it. Make those moves in advance.
Yeah.
Get that equipment to that field before the 8th gets here, and maybe try and stick to that one spot that day. But anyway, just some good information here.
What day is April the 8th?
It's a Monday. It's a Monday. It'll be happening that afternoon. I know, thinking about motorist impact or, impact on the roads, I know Little Rock and North Little Rock School District have already dismissed that day, and they have both cited traffic concerns. Oh, wow. So the eclipse would be happening right around release time, and they don't want buses and parents to be navigating those. Yeah, all these folks. Little Rock is in the full blackout area. So I've already seen warnings issued on cell phone outages just because the towers being overrun. Yeah, encouraging paper maps and things like this during that time. So I think we will see impacts on our infrastructure. And as this says, there'll be a specific focus on those rural communities.
Yeah, maybe Vince will allow us to get on top of the building.
Maybe so. Is that an official request? Is that
if you listen, Vince.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Just based on everything we talked about last week.
Uh-huh.
What happens if the moon sees its shadow?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'll let you answer that one.
Turns into Swiss cheese. I don't know.
Swiss cheese. Yeah, I saw an article the other day that said the moon is shrinking, and I didn't get to open it and read it.
You can't drop something like that.
But how could the moon shrink? Is it just getting further away from Earth? Is my question. So maybe I can report back on that. Yeah,
find out what you can find out about that.
Okay. Well, all right. I provided some good news. I think both my stories were good news last week.
Yeah, they were.
Do not have that for you today.
Okay.
At least in this story.
All right.
Actually, we'll just not this story.
Okay.
So, given the article that I sourced this from AgRap Pulse regarding net farm income is forecasted to be down quite a bit in 2024.
Okay.
So the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Economic Research Service has forecasted a significant drop in farm income for the second year in a row. Wednesday's forecast shows net farm income for 2024 falling by 25.5%, or $39.8 billion in nominal dollars. This is for the U.S., not just Arkansas. This is after 2023, where net farm income had already dropped by 16%, or $29.7 billion from 2022. If we adjust those numbers to account for inflation, USDA has projected $116.1 million of net farm income for 2024 would be 1.7% below the 20-year average and 40.9% below the 2022 record. So pretty low. So if we look at net cash farm income, which is a broader measure of profits that also accounts for government payments, it too is also forecasted to have a similar decline of 25.8% or $42.2 billion when adjusted for inflation. This figure is also about 13.7% lower than the 20-year average as well, and has fallen 43.2% since its peak in 2022. According to the article, declines are mainly driven by dropping commodity returns and government payments, as well as increasing production expenses. That's kind of been the story, for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So ERS is also expecting cash receipts to drop by more than $21 billion in 2024, largely due to a $16.7 billion year-over-year decline in crop returns on falling corn and soybean income specifically. On the other hand, animal and animal product receipts are projected for a smaller drop, around $4.6 billion.
Interesting.
Production costs are expected to rise $16.7 billion and would increase forecasted expenses to $455.1 billion due to higher labor costs and rising purchase prices for poultry and livestock production. Lastly, the income forecast and additional economic factors are projected to add another $27 billion to farm sector debt, a 5.2% increase in total, $547.6 billion. Some good news would be that the sector's equity and assets are both projected to rise 4.7% through the year. However, the debt-to-asset ratios are projected to experience a slight drop from 12.73% in 2023 to 12.78% in 2024. Like I said, not the greatest news.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of farmers probably already assumed this would continue to be the case this year, and you'd like to think that they've planned accordingly. But it's another down year. And what I think I reported on this a little bit last year, the government payments, we got from COVID or kind of that China trade issue. We had all those a few years ago. So those numbers were slightly inflated because of that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So, but this year we're expecting lower commodity prices, and our production cost is going up, or it has been up.
As you say again, yeah. And I think, based on what I heard yesterday, as long as the conflict continues, as one of the questions that was asked there is, what does the end of the Ukraine-Russia conflict look like? The point was well made. It's got to end. Yeah. And what does that do for input production? Yeah. So much of that that comes from that region.
Well, I think I reported 2 weeks ago, I think it was at the conference, about the shipping costs and going through the Red Sea and the Panama Canal. If those things aren't improved, if that conflict in the Red Sea is not improved and water doesn't rise in the Panama Canal, we could see commodity prices going down.
Yeah. Also, Senator Bozeman, I think we alluded to this at the beginning, but the show, Senator Bozeman leverages this data, this report, as an opportunity to come out and say, hey, look, we've got to look at the farm safety net in the farm bill. Yeah. And just as a reminder, when you look at numbers like this, we've got to do something to make sure that we're providing the support and the help that farmers need.
Yeah, and I've sat in on a few presentations, specifically Hunter Byram of the U of A Extension. He's really big on, or really focused on crop insurance. But he specifically said revenue protection would be really something good for producers to look at this year. So if you're not, insurance savvy or crop insurance savvy, reach out to Hunter or me, and I can forward you his information. And I think he's got a crop insurance decision tool out now on U of A's website. Nice. So look into that.
Okay. Well, you want to take a short break and hear a bit about what Farm Bureau membership can do in your community?
Yeah.
Your Arkansas Farm Bureau membership supports the work we do on behalf of Arkansas farmers, ranchers, and communities around the state. A $40 annual Farm Bureau membership makes a difference in your neighborhood. From youth leadership programs and academic scholarships to hunger relief and disaster support, you can make a difference and be a champion for your community. Join at arfb.com.
All right, it's been a while since we reported on fruit production. I'm trying to make you proud here, let alone fruit breeding. So how about we cover some news on that front today?
Let's do it.
The Arkansas Fruit Breeding Program has released a new late-season blackberry to give growers a premium product after other varieties are done yielding. Commercial-scale propagators have licenses and material for sale. I'm sorry, this would be for those commercial scale growers.
Yeah,
mostly. It's called the Sweet Arc Immaculate, and it is a thornless floricane fruiting blackberry that offers medium to large berries that have been shown to hold up well after harvest. Floricane varieties produce flowers and fruit on second-year canes. I did a little research on this, and that's basically what that means. There's either the first year or the second year.
Yeah.
Dr. Margaret Worthington, I think who a lot of us are familiar with. She's breeding director at the fruit breeding program of the fruit breeding program for the U of A Ag Experiment Station. Goodness. Said that she said people have been asking for a new late season variety from the Arkansas program for a long time now. She went on to say the main advantages of Sweet Arc Immaculate and what it has over the late season blackberry varieties out now are its outstanding post-harvest performance. It's great yield potential. She also said Sweet Arc Immaculate demonstrates a step forward for blackberry firmness, which aids in holding up well during storage and shipping. Post-harvest trials at the Fruit Research Station near Clarksville show that Sweet Arc Immaculate had better fruit firmness than all comparison cultivars after 2 weeks of refrigerated storage. So why are these late season varieties important?
Yeah.
I thought you'd never ask. Late season varieties are treasured for growers in the shipping industry to command a higher premium because less fruit is available during that period.
Oh, yeah.
But Worthington said it's also nice for local growers who can have fruit available at farmers markets, fruit stands, or pick your own operations later in the season.
Yeah.
Kind of extends that season out. Including Sweet Arc Immaculate, the Arkansas Fruit Breeding Program has publicly released 22 blackberry varieties, with 16 of those being floricane fruiting. Sweet Arc Immaculate is available for licensing to propagators right now. You can simply contact the Technology Commercialization Office for licensing information.
I know I've said it here before, or maybe I haven't, but if I haven't, you're going to hear it now.
Yeah.
If you've eaten a blackberry before in your life, more than likely, 99.99% chances that it was bred right there in Clarksville, Arkansas.
That's so
If
awesome.
you ate one in Japan, it was bred in Clarksville, Arkansas.
Yeah. We did a great story. One of the first things I did when I moved here was talking to them about the Arkansas connection to cotton candy grapes.
Yeah.
To cotton candy grapes. And those genetics started in this program.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
They've got a bunch of varieties up there. If you ever get a chance to go to one of their field days, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And you get to have your fill of blackberries and anything else they take you around. So
That's awesome.
It's nice.
That's awesome.
Well, I got one more story.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap up. This is a little touchy subject. Has been for a long time. But Dicamba is back in the news after a new ruling that came out of Arizona this week. According to AgriPulse, a federal judge has vacated the 2020 registrations of Dicamba. David Berry, a U.S. district judge in Arizona, determined EPA violated notice and comment requirements when it issued new use registrations for cotton and soybean dicamba-tolerant crops. The products affected are Bayer's XtendiMax, BASF's Ingenia, and Syngenta's Tavium. And the judge was quoted saying the EPA did not afford notice, comment, or any opportunity for hearing when it is used when it was issued the 2020 Dicamba registrations. In addition, EPA failed to determine no additional data was necessary before issuing the 2020 unconditional registrations for over-the-top Dicamba, according to the judge. Key in on that over-the-top thing as I go here.
Okay.
It's the second time in recent years that Dicamba has been subject to an adverse court order. In June 2020, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals vacated the registrations, but declined after that decision to halt the actual use of the product. EPA allowed producers to use Dicamba on hand since the decision came in the midst of a growing season. The impact of the judge's ruling on 2024 acreage is unclear at this time. So back then, when it was hit in 2020, that decision was made. Producers had already bought dicamba resistant seed. They've already bought their dicamba chemicals. So it would have put people in quite a financial crunch, to say the least.
Yeah.
According to the judge, the seriousness of EPA's error to consider new data in 2020 is compounded by the finding in the Ninth Circuit decision that the original registrations issued for over-the-top dicamba in 2016, amended in 2018, failed to consider risk to certain stakeholders, including those not using over-the-top dicamba. So as it stands currently, and I've been fielding phone calls all morning. I think we started this podcast late because I was fielding phone calls. We're hearing that farmers can no longer use dicamba for over-the-top crops. So, like, if you've already got your cotton or soybeans planted, you can't use dicamba. But however, we're hearing from other sources that you can use it as a burn down in later or older developed dicamba chemicals, if that makes sense. So what I listed above here, Bayer's XtendiMax, BAS, Ingenia, and Syngenta's Tavium, those are completely gone. You can't use those for any reason. But in older formulations of the chemical, you can use it as a burn down. Now, this has kind of been a roller coaster of, well, they said this, no, it's this, no, it's this. So I'm going to continue to follow this. It's going to be important to our row crop guys and girls. But also, Brandy Carroll wrote a short little Ag Insider that was posted last night or this morning.
Okay.
So if you want a little bit more information on that specifically, go out to arfb.com and you can see Brandy's little spiel she put out, and it's good information. So
yeah.
But like I said, we will continue to follow this. I know it's going to be important to a lot of people. So yeah. Well, that's where we're at.
There's a lot of thoughts on this right now.
A month and a half, 2 months before planting season starts.
Yeah.
Like, there's people that already probably have this in their shop, or they already have the seed delivered, and
for sure. Yeah. So it'll be interesting and to see how EPA responds.
Yeah. It is, and they're going to have to respond pretty quickly.
Yep. So, all right. Well, that wraps up the news.
All right. See y'all later.
Yep. Very good. Nice try.
Here comes your favorite part of the day, right before your least favorite part of the day.
Oh, man, thinking is difficult.
Come on, campers.
Yep.
Let's play.
Stop the host.
I really enjoy that. I really do. I really do. That is not a joke.
Sometimes I hear it in my sleep.
I'm sure you do.
Wakes you up.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the time. I have been holding this back from you guys for 2 years, but I wanted to announce my new album is coming out.
Your new album called Stuff
Did you
the
not
Host?
watch the Grammys?
No.
Oh, this guy. Yeah.
It's called I'm Schizophrenic, and so am I.
And so am I.
Seriously. It's a little Grammys humor. Since we're
That's good.
since we're doing
So am I.
yes.
Me,
These are
myself, and Irene.
the first couple of questions are musical related. So
Yeah.
Okay.
wanted to see if you guys could get them.
Okay. I'm not great at music, but we'll
Let's try.
All right.
disclaimer.
Who composed the music for the video game Sonic the Hedgehog 3?
Oh, goodness.
Specifically the third one? Not like I know either one of them, but would it?
Feels like a Calvin Harris type thing, but I've not seen the movie, so.
I don't know. I have no clue. Daft Punk?
No.
That's
Good guess.
a good guess, yeah.
It could be. Would you believe Michael Jackson?
No.
Tell us.
I mean, I guess, but
He did.
From Beyond.
Yes.
Interesting.
Well, he was still alive back then. So.
Oh, okay. I thought that was
video games,
one of
right?
the
No,
one.
no, the video game. though.
Video game. I was thinking about the movies.
Oh, no,
that are
video
happening
game.
right now.
Video game.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I didn't listen
I
very
had
well.
Sonic the Hedgehog on Sega.
Yeah.
Genesis, the original.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I can't hear. I don't remember the music. I just remember the coins or the rings. Ding 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 ding.
That's my
funny.
grandkids are fascinated with Sonic, by the way.
That's
Really?
funny. Yeah, he's made a resurgence.
Yes. What is Bob Dylan's real name?
I've no clue.
Robert
Keep going.
Dylan.
Robert Dylan Jones.
Robert,
You guys are fired, I swear.
Robert Davis.
Zimmerman.
Robert Zimmerman.
Huh.
All right.
Well,
You're not doing too well with the Grammys. So,
no.
what color is the black box in an airplane?
Red.
Orange.
Orange. Look at you.
They got to be able to find
All right.
it.
So now you're 1 for 3.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to throw one more to you, and we'll see if you can get this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Last question.
Okay.
What is the #1 seller at Walmart? What item?
Period. That's the question.
And I don't know where they got this, so I can't verify it, but I got it.
So don't
Off
ask
the
any
interweb,
follow-up questions. The #1
What would
item.
you guess? What commodity?
Oh, it's commodity.
I gave you a little
look at
nugget
that
there.
hint.
So I even
You're talking about commodity, like real
Milk.
commodities. Yeah, milk's a good guess. Rice, a grain of some sort. Beef.
How many guesses are you going to have?
There's no rules to this.
apparently he just
throwing
keeps
it.
rolling
Yeah,
until I
he's
say no.
He's
So
just watching for your head
But-
to nod.
all of those are wrong.
Tortilla chips. Chicken.
Bananas.
Bananas.
Yeah. So,
Banana.
that is all I have for you, gentlemen.
I wonder if
It's-
bananas are
for the record,
top
you got
selling
one right.
fruit.
So
Yeah,
Well,
one of
congratulations. You did a great job at
Stumping
the
it.
host.
Stump the host.
Michael Jackson.
You're welcome.
Sir.
That's even better. Other things. I like that. All right. Well,
Awesome.
we had a good one this week. Thanks,
we
y'all.
did.
That
Struggled.
wraps up the news for this week. Thanks for following along with the Arkansas Agcast. We're grateful for you taking the time to watch and listen.
Remember, you can catch new episodes of the show every Thursday afternoon. Find video episodes on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the audio version wherever you listen to podcasts.
And make sure you subscribe and leave us a review when you have a few extra minutes. The Arkansas Agcast is brought to you by Arkansas Farm Bureau. I'm Jason Brown,
And I'm John McMinn.
and we'll see you next week.